On your adventures in the massive world of Warcraft, you'll encounter dozens, if not hundreds, of unique environments with their own details, atmosphere, and inhabitants. This variety extends to the roof of the world, where the frigid continent of Northrend lies. Contrary to the glimpses we saw of the region in Warcraft 3, Wrath of the Lich King unveiled a much more diverse portrayal of the continent, introducing a number of fan-favorite zones containing dozens of unique landmarks. Today, we're taking a look at 7 wonders of Northrend that capture the essence of the lands and histories present there. For this episode, I wanted to steer away from some of the big-ticket areas of the map in favor of some of the smaller, lesser-known ones, and I hope you enjoy. As always, thank you for your fun comments and support, and with all that being said, let's get right into it. The high cliff walls and sweeping greens of the Howling Fjord are one of the most memorable zones of the expansion, but there are layers of history here beyond the mighty Vrykul and stoic iron dwarves players see today. Dotting the fjord are a number of dwarven excavation sites run by the Explorers League, but have since been overrun by various threats in the area. I think the most intriguing of these is Ivald's Ruin, found high atop the eastern cliffs. Here, a massive stone arm holds a torch aloft, but the rest of the presumed statue remains buried. The expedition was unable to dig deeper before the Iron Dwarves showed up, fiercely defending territory that apparently was once held by the Titans and their constructs. We see similar situations throughout the zone, and from the architecture that's been unearthed, it seems Titan monuments were once common at the surface here. With Ivald's Ruin being close to the eastern shoreline, this torch could be a reference to the Statue of Liberty, or maybe even the original Planet of the Apes film, though in the past this area was likely far from any shore. With the Iron Dwarves now filling back in the excavation site, it seems whatever secrets lie here are gonna stay buried. As a side note, why do you think this other one is called Steel Gate when there's not any sort of gate visible? In the far north of the world, even beyond the mighty Storm Peaks and Ice-Crown Glacier, lies a small, snowy island. Added in patch 3.2, it is the only landmass to be unlocked after the launch of Wrath, and is the site of a brutal invasion by the Kvaldir Raiders. Led by Drotin Hrothgar, the island has been renamed Hrothgar's Landing, but it once had another name, Tualik. For centuries, perhaps longer before the invasion, a tribe of Tuskarr called this place home, this frigid peak that is actually the northernmost point all players can access on Azeroth. Once likely an important spot for fishing and whaling in the Arctic reaches, the Kvaldir and their Kraken minions are the only ones left. The shrines and tents of the Tuskarr smashed and defaced. You can even see a small avalanche here that buried a part of the village, a consequence of a harpoon or catapult perhaps. In the absence of the Tuskarr, the forces of the Horde and Alliance have sailed into the northern fishing strait, but they too have encountered the ferocity of the Sea Raiders. From high atop the cliffs, the neutral Argent Crusade helps clear out the invaders, but it seems the Kvaldir are here to stay. At least while the Scourge draws heroes away to more important matters. On the eastern slopes of Northrend, a mighty empire is falling to ruin. The Drukhari ice trolls, having lived for thousands of years here in the north, are now under siege by the undead Scourge, and the Drukhari are now sacrificing their own animal gods to gain forbidden powers. There are a lot of great story moments and details here in Zul'Drak, but I think something that is often overlooked is the marvelous architecture of the trolls, especially their aqueducts. The Draksotra fields are the most intact product of these systems, with the aqueduct guiding meltwater from the upper reaches down to the commoner levels, where fields of water poppies now go untended during the war. I find this area so crucial because it is quite literally the last of its kind, and nowhere else on Azeroth do we see this unique and rather advanced form of agriculture. Elsewhere in the zone, the infrastructure is shattered, but here, the water still flows, even if the days of great crops and self-sustaining harvests are over. Many players wade through here while questing, but I reckon most walk right under the marvel that sustains the plants here. If you want to learn more about the secrets of Zul'Drak, you can check out the video essay I made a while back, with the link in the description. No list of Northrend's wonders would be complete without paying a visit to the heart of the Grizzly Hills, where a massive tree lies broken atop the earth. This was once the world tree Androsil, planted by the Night Elves to stave off the corruption of the old gods, but was itself corrupted from below. It was felled over 4,000 years ago, and in the time since, it has become the heart of Firbolg civilization, the primitive bearmen crafting the great city of Grizzly inside the stump. This is certainly the largest tree in Wrath of the Lich King, and even though it is no longer intact, it still exerts a great amount of influence in the zone, with several of the paths and locales in the western part of the zone tying back to the Great Arbor and its destruction. With a flying mount, you can appreciate the details even more, including the great tree rings and the jagged bark that juts toward the sky. Grizzly Hills, as all respectable WoW players know, is one of the best zones ever made, and having the impressive Grizzly as the centerpiece really ties it all together. The central wastes of Northrend are home to one of the most fascinating roads in the entire game, the mythical Path of the Titans, built by the Keepers in an age-long past. Most players probably run across this feature in the center of Dragonblight, the great dragon graveyard of the north. But what many players don't realize is that the path extends far beyond this one zone, both north and south. From the towering Wormrest Temple, broken remnants stretch north into the Crystalsong Forest, up into the Storm Peaks, and finally toward the fabled city of Ulduar, the epicenter of Titan influence in the north. On the southern coast, the path disappears into the sea, but its story doesn't end here. The Strand of the Ancients, an island to the south that now serves as a PvP zone, showcases an even mightier segment of the path, still broken but towering over the western slopes of the isle. Millennia ago, it is likely this path extended all the way from Ulduar to the Well of Eternity and beyond, but in this sundered world, the path is a segmented reminder of just how much history Azeroth has to explore. The Borean Tundra is a bleak zone, a peninsula on the western shores of the continent where the Scourge run rampant and other dark factions push back against Horde and Alliance base camps. In the midst of this power struggle here in the tundra, an icy relic lies tucked away in the far south, the Riplash ruins. Here, ancient Night Elven columns are tucked away behind the icebergs, obscuring another forgotten history. After the Great Sundering, the Naga occupied this site, a temple to the elven goddess Elune, for centuries. But with the arrival of the Kavaldir, we see another area overrun by their bloodlust. The Mistcallers have also done their duty, clouding the entire strand in ethereal fog. I really like this part of the tundra, and the attention to detail here is impressive, with the ruins including sizable surface and underwater features, and several unique art assets which is rare for a B-plot location. The Temple of Elune with 2 entryways, this constellation ceiling, and a few other hidden secrets make this an unusually special place in the zone, and the frigid blue color scheme transposes the Night Elf architecture perfectly here to Northrend. Our final wonder for today takes us not across the surface of this frozen land, but under it. In western Dragonblight, a rift in the ground, known as the Pit of Narjun, provides passage into the great underworld of Northrend, the kingdom of Azul-Nerub. This region was first introduced in Warcraft 3, when Prince Arthas used the caverns as a shortcut to reach Icecrown. Having already been conquered by the Lich King's Scourge, the kingdom is now in ruin, and only a few living Nerubians remain. In World of Warcraft, there are 2 5-person dungeons, Azul-Nerub proper and An-Kahet, the Old Kingdom. The former makes excellent use of verticality in having players drop through spider-infested tunnels and ravines, and it might just be one of the tallest dungeon maps in the game. The caves leading back into darkness make the area feel realistic, like there's an entire underground of Northrend we never fully get to see. An-Kahet is a different story, with the mighty temples and spires of the Nerubians on full display. You fight through these ancient castles and ledges as you take down Scourge and Old God forces, but if you look over the edge of the city, you'll see something even more magnificent. An entire subterranean landscape, complete with glowing mushrooms, lava pools, and tranquil lakes that really remind me of Moria in Lord of the Rings Online. But maybe that's just because the 2 expansions were released literally within 1 week of each other. Anyway, part of me really believes these features down below are remnants of an original plan to make Azul-Nerub an entire underground zone during Wrath. They never got around to working it out, and we only see the Nerubian Empire in these segmented pieces as we go through Northrend, making Azul Narub one of the greatest pieces of cut content in the game, and truly a fitting wonder of Azeroth. Thank you all so much for watching, and until next time, may the Force be with you.